Our big guest today has become intrinsically linked with the way memory and food partner together and the way senses can be inspired and ignited by food. There's only one person that can be. The one, the only, Heston Blumenthal.
Welcome to MasterChef. What a car that is. Imagine driving down the street in that, baby.
I flew over from the UK in this.
Wow. The three of us had the opportunity to dine at the Fat Duck. We were there for, I think, 5.5, 6 hours. I can remember every single thing because it was so memorable and it was so exciting, it was so fun, but above all, it was delicious.
Yeah. What I want to really want to get out of today is just to condense some of the techniques I've developed over the last, say, 20 years that have really driven and kind of defined the cooking at the Fat Duck, but how these techniques can revolutionise the way you cook at home. And you'll be surprised, a lot of them are really very simple once you know how.
Great. Well, I think you and me, cup of tea, you two, get some work done. See you later.
See you in a bit.
See you later. Shall we cook?
Let's cook. Let's do it.
It's nice to have you here today on Masterclass to, I guess, remove a few myths about cooking. What are you going to demonstrate today?
OK, this is a highly complicated, scientific, incredibly advanced dish, scrambled eggs.
Ooh. Put your hand up if you've cooked scrambled eggs.
This morning.
This morning?
Oh, this morning?
There you go.
Right, so all I'm doing, just putting eggs in a bowl, a low heat. Gonna add about 20 grams of butter, a bit of milk, roughly about the same, 20, 25, and then 25 mils, double cream. Pinch of salt, and the key ingredient, patience. So all I'm doing is just cooking these over a pan of water. Make sure that you might have to sort of take the bowl off if the pan gets too hot. So they're cooking really gently. You can, of course, whack it straight in a pan, whack the heat up, chuck the eggs in, stir it, chuck some butter in, season it and serve it. But you don't get that same creamy texture. OK, while George is busily stirring, does everyone know what beurre noisette is? It's basically nutty butter, hazelnut butter. Very simple to make. Just put some butter in a pan on the heat. We cook that until it develops this beautiful nutty characteristic, and that's called beurre noisette.
Yeah.
It's delicious, isn't it? You can put it in pasta dishes. If you put beurre noisette in those, it makes a fantastic difference.
It smells wonderful, doesn't it?
So I'll just let that sit a bit, and you'll see there's a foam on the top. You just skim that off.
Oh, how you want to?
Yeah, cool. Thanks. So I think if you have a look, they're just getting these lovely little kind of curds in there.
So a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, a touch of salt and pepper. Do you want to do the honours?
You want me to put it on?
Yeah.
Yeah, done. Beautiful. The texture's so light, so it looks so creamy. Not sort of rubbery and hard.
OK, then the finishing touch, two things, is the beurre noisette.
Oh.
And a few drops of sherry vinegar.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause.
I'm excited. What are we cooking?
Steak.
Steak.
What I'm going to show you now will improve any piece of steak that you cook. First step, take it out a couple of hours before, let it come up to room temperature. You now put your pan on the heat. It's important the pan gets very hot. Most people, when they cook steak at home, don't heat their pans enough.
Yeah.
But leave the pan on for 5 minutes. Nice and hot. Put the oil in. The oil will start smoking quite quickly, as you can see now. One point to make is the salt I'm putting on the outside of this piece of steak is not going to penetrate the centre. So depending on the thickness of the meat, you may want to salt it again. With the dish we're doing here, which is a tagliata, it's served sliced anyway, so we'll be seasoning it afterwards. Yeah. You kind of have to imagine you guys aren't here. If I was in my kitchen at home right now, what I would be telling everybody is drop the steak in away from you, never towards you, because they're going to splash fat on you. Unfortunately, you guys are all standing here. So...
Just go for it. As long as you don't hurt yourself, that's fine. Beautiful.
Okay. Right, now, what I'm going to do...
But why are you turning it over already?
Every 15 to 20 seconds. Flip, 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 flip. It will cook... This is the key thing for this. Now, what you're doing here, almost treating this like a rotisserie. While you're flipping those steaks, you're pulsing the heat. And then as you turn it over, you're allowing it to cool down a bit. So you're having these pulses of heat going through the meat. So what happens is it doesn't stay in contact with the pan for long enough to start overcooking the outside.
And I'm looking at that now, and that's looking beautiful. So all the sugars, I presume, and you're going to explain that, aren't you? What's happening in that process?
Yes.
Are you OK?
I'm just going to...
You don't have to say anything while you test it.
Oh, no, Gary, I'll tell you what. Can you get me a cup of tea, please?
Cup of tea? What, like I've turned into your... All right, OK.
Well, I'll let that sit.
Right. And a little Australian present, a Tim Tam, and if you really want to go for it, you bite the end off, right? And then you suck your tea through the Tim Tam. And then because I've turned into your surf, if you want to sit down, I'll feed you grapes.
I have heard of this, but I've never done it.
Well, with your Tim Tam, you take a bite out of the opposite corners, and then you slurp your drink, well, delicately drink your drink through.
Through there?
Yeah.
You might have to dip a few times. You might have to dip a few. You can pick your teacup up. You know, you've got to imagine you sitting in front of the telly.
That's fingers. Thank you.
But you might have to turn it around and suck the other end first.
Oh, it works! That's brilliant! Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, no.
Are we going to see this on the duck in some kind of... as an Australian celebration?
I better get back to the steaks, actually.
Nah, don't worry about the steak.
So, using a probe will literally change your life in the kitchen. It'll give you consistency, amazing consistency. Blue is 45 degrees, rare is 50, medium rare 55, medium 60, medium well 65, well done 70.
We're just getting up to 45.
That means that's now at blue stage. Oh,
I'm happy with that.
Are we blue? Okay,
See, I would have eaten this raw.
So,
what are you doing now?
So what I'm doing now is just whacked a bit of bashed garlic in there. And I'm just making like a lightly cooked vinaigrette. Can you smell it?
It's gorgeous.
Just whack some rosemary in. You'll notice I've taken the pan off the heat. Some herbs do definitely benefit from squashing a bit before you put them in. Sage, rosemary. Don't chop rosemary. Don't chop thyme. It very quickly breaks down. You get this whole kind of
brown.
muddy...
Yeah, brown and bruised.
Exactly. Just leave that for a few minutes.
Oh, it does smell. So what's that?
So this is lemon zest, lemon peel. Great technique, really simple. If you take the zest and just rub it between your forefinger and your thumb, what you're doing is creating a little chicken head.
You spent too long with us this week, haven't you?
No, speaking about the contestants actually picking something up and learning. That's exactly what I've done. So what you're doing here is you're squashing the essential oil from that. OK, turn that off. Just let the bubbles come down. I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice in here. So it's like a cooked vinaigrette. The rosemary, the garlic, the lemon, the juices from the steak, and the olive oil. Okay, can you just dress that?
With a little bit of the dressing that you've left in the pan, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just all you need to do is just put the beef on the plate. Very simple. Salt, pepper.
Is that enough?
Yeah, perfect.
Rocket on top. And some shaved parmesan. It looks beautiful.
So that's it. That's a tagliata of very fine beef.
Beautiful.
I'm creating roast chicken, roast potatoes, and gravy.
So that's been in the oven for how long?
This has been in for a couple of hours.
Now, do you let that rest?
Now let that rest. And a lot of people are surprised at this, but this is a good 40 minutes to rest this.
Wow.
And it will keep its heat. It's going to continue to cook. If you were to carve that chicken now, or in 10 minutes' time, you'll see all the steam coming out. And all that steam coming out is moisture that you've done all the work to keep in. So just leave it. It'll continue, finish off cooking, it'll get to the plateau, and then it'll relax. And all the fibres in there will start to relax, and they'll hold the juices. You'll end up with a piece of chicken that's much juicier. So we'll whack the potatoes in. And then when they're in the pan, just turn them over so they're all coated in oil, and then leave them on the cut side. Fat side. And then we'll turn them later, but let them spend most of the time.
Salt at this point or not?
No, I tend to add salt.
At the end?
At the end,
OK.
Yeah. If you add salt now, it can tend to draw a bit more moisture out, and it can make the potato, the crust, a little bit chewy sometimes. So leave the salt until the end. We whack the oven up now to 180, and then leave them in. 45 minutes is probably the minimum. So you really get that, you really want that crust to develop. So now the sauce. Pop this onto the heat. So this was the tray that the chicken was roasting on top of. Get that on the heat and just start getting that frying. So here's the pressure cooked stock, cooled down, strained through a sieve, and that's it. And it's just naturally set with the gelatin that's in the meat.
And you can make that well in advance, put them in the freezer.
Oh, freezes. It freezes easily. Put some white wine. And then we'll reduce that down by about between 2/3 and 3/4.
So once that's reduced, where do we put that?
Put that back into the pressure cooker. Now, you don't have to do this, but the pressure cooker, again, if you've got it to hand, you get more flavour from it. So this is what we call it's a double stock. I'm now adding in the pressure cooked stock.
Wow.
From what was left over from the roast from the week before, into the pressure cooker with the wingtips and the veg that the chicken was roasted on top of. Cook it for about 40-odd minutes, cool down, strain it through a sieve, and reduce it.
And you get this.
And you get this.
Which is liquid gold.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Wow, look how jelly-like.
So now the potatoes. So when the potatoes are looking like they're nearly there, probably say 20 minutes away, crank the oven up to about 250. This is.
Yep.
And the reason for that is because the chicken's been cooked at a lower temperature to keep all the moisture in. So obviously the skin hasn't been browned. It's still warm, but it's cooled down enough that'll allow the oven to brown the skin without taking the meat too high and drying it out. So this is now the last stage where the chicken goes in for a blitz for 10 minutes, just to brown the skin.
Right, so we'll basically pop that on that.
Yep.
Yep.
So this the double pressure cooked stock. We've just melted it, come up to the heat, add some beurre noisette, cook butter until all the proteins start to brown. We'll probably go for between 1 and 2 dessert spoons, I think. Enough for this. Take them off. And then one thing that's really important, and that's acidity and mustard. It does have vinegar and mustard. Lemon juice puts acidity in, but lemon juice has a lot of flavour. That's just had a bit of sherry vinegar, a little bit of mustard, put Dijon in, not English, it's too hot. And now I'm going to just, right at the end, put a couple of sprigs of tarragon in.
Yeah.
And then we'll carve the chicken.
Chicken first?
Yeah, and then do the potatoes.
Look at that skin. Oh.
So we're carving the chicken. Just take the wings, tips off, the legs. So that's now ready for your next stop.
Yum.
And then for the actual breasts, carve them across the grain. So it'll be like that. Then the potatoes.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Wow. Season?
Yep. And wax them. There, and then some sauce.
That is beautiful.
Okay, then just...
Something so simple, but so delicious. Who wants to taste? Trent, Elena, come on.
Get that sauce.
That sauce.
It's good, huh? Hey?
Oh, so That's good. Incredible, that sauce. Far out. It's just so intensely chickeny. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. I think all those little processes along the way, the milk powder to the chicken bones, all those add layers of complexity, but to end up with extreme flavour.
So there it is. My roast chicken, roast potatoes, and gravy.
You're going to love this one. You are going to love it.
You might need the whole of your notepads just to get the ingredients in. The ingredients are chocolate and water. Classically, ingredients that we're told would never mix. In fact, they do mix, and just with these two ingredients, you're going to make a chocolate mousse.
Wow.
So we've gone here for 350 grams of chocolate, 425 grams of water. Bring the water to the boil.
Yep.
Pour it over the chocolate. I'm using water because I just think it's a great way of demonstrating how simple this is. But the water you can also add. You could add some alcohol, a bit of whiskey or brandy or rum that's maybe slightly reduced. You could put dessert wine. You can put fruit juice in there. You could put, I mean, you can really play around with the ingredients that you're going to add. But it's just the simplicity of this. What it does, you don't have the creaminess, but it kind of opens up the chocolate more. So you can see now that's thickening. And you can speed this process up. Just stick it in a bowl of ice.
So basically you've heated it up and now you're cooling it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the emulsifier that's in the chocolate, it's the fat in there as well, and the water, as you whisk, what'll happen, it'll cool down to the point when the chocolate starts to solidify. When you end up with a mousse. We played around quite a bit with the ratio of the chocolate and water. So there will be a point where there's too much water to allow the chocolate eventually to set. If you don't put enough in, it will end up being hard and grainy. And it's better to make this just before you serve it. So this whole process will be done in less than 10 minutes. So you can see that it's starting to thicken?
Yeah, yeah.
Just really dispersing spreading the cooling effect from the ice evenly through the chocolate. Just one thing here now, this is now starting, as it's cooling down, this isn't far off. But just like when you whip cream, how many times have you whipped cream and you realise you stop when you think it's ready? You should have stopped 2 minutes earlier. This is like that, but even more so. So just be careful not to over-whip it. You can melt it again. Right, that's now.
It's starting to change. Is there a reason why you wouldn't do that with an electric machine rather than? Is it just so you can feel it more?
It's just so you can feel it more, yeah. Because when you've got that going, it blocks. I mean, from a vision point of view, it blocks a lot of what you can see, and sometimes it can go pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit safer.
Just see, it's about to just turn.
You have a look now. See now it's starting to go. Just usually, so now it's very nearly there. No, I took it out of the bowl of ice because it'll take a few minutes longer, but that ice will speed up this process to the point where will make it easier to over-whisk it.
So much about this is all about texture, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There.
That turns so quickly.
Oh, nice. Wow.
That's it. A little bit of salt on. But generally, to reduce bitterness, if you think something's too bitter, don't add sugar, add salt. So this is the chocolate mousse made with chocolate and water.
Taste this.
So just remember that it is the template. We thought about putting other things in, but in fact, the things is just the basic concept of it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you think it's
so pure flavour. You know, I think it makes the chocolate taste more chocolatey just by.
Yeah, it just opens everything up.
Right, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh yeah. It's so pure, isn't it? Yum. So what we've got here is that salt bush-fed lamb, which we have been using all week. So what's going on here? Because most people at home would look at that and go, what are you doing soaking meat in water for?
I've made a brine. A brine is just salted water. There's 320 grams of salt. Mix that with 3.2 litres of water, about 30-odd grams of sprigs of rosemary, 20 to 30 grams of thyme, and there's 2-3 bay leaves. Got a head of garlic and some black peppercorns.
H, correct me if I'm wrong, but you put all that ingredients that you've just listed off, not the lamb, into a pot, bring it to the boil, and just pull it to the side, let it cool down, and have that in your arsenal as you need it, use it.
Yeah, I mean, stores for a long time. This one's had about 3 hours in the water. So now, we just take an anchovy.
Yep.
And a bit of rosemary, roll that around there, put the garlic in the middle.
Oh, yeah?
Make a tasty little parcel.
And then jam it in.
Then jam it in. Do about a dozen or so, something like that.
We've got a tray here with rosemary in it.
Yeah.
All right, so H, we've brined, we've studded with anchovy, rosemary, and garlic. What's next?
So now, before it goes onto the barbecue, it's going to go into the oven. So we put some water into the tray, about 200 mils of water. We've got the studded lamb, and that goes into the oven, 120 degrees, till you get a core temperature of 45 degrees. Allow about 45 minutes for this.
Okay. So that's the one we put in a little bit earlier. Okay?
Yes.
So what do we do now?
Feed it onto there.
Oh, gosh.
Just... There you go. And then slide that onto there. That's it.
You've made a little marinade, haven't you?
Yes.
So what have you got in there?
That's garlic, chilli, rosemary, lemon peel. There's a mixture of olive oil and grapeseed oil. And I've just made a brush out of a load of rosemary. OK.
Ready?
Yep, ready. Come on.
Ready? And then press the button.
Press the button.
A little bit of Heston magic for you.
Just about ready. I'm going to give it a base with this oil.
Beautiful. Look at that. Right, shall we carve? Because I'm starving.
Yes.
Let's do it. You ready?
Yep.
How good is that? So while you're carving that up, I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky.
Unlike you.
And bring some souvlaki bread and some tzatziki and make some souvlakis. What do you reckon? You up for it? Right, I'm gonna go and grill these off and we can have a nice little feast. Yeah?
So there's my spit roast barbecued leg of lamb.
Well done.
Right, OK, so you've just seen Gaz do a good old classic hearty British dish. So what I'm going to do is fish and chips. I'm going to do an old school dish with a new school twist. I'm going to start off with some flour, plain flour at 360 grams. And then we've got some baking powder, about 15 grams of that. And then some salt, about 20 grams of salt. So obviously the flour, we know what we're going to use. The flour, the baking powder, obviously, is going to create a little bit more gas, which will make the batter lighter, and then obviously seasoning. Now here, at the restaurant, we use some fairly advanced type of starches, which aren't that easy to get hold of. I'm going to add these to this mix, but on the website, we've got a recipe that has been developed to get the best out of the batter when you can't get these. So mix all these in. Right, so that's the dry part ready. And now I need to add my liquid. So what I'm gonna do is add 375 grams of beer. And then the same, about 375 grams of sparkling water. Okay, then give all that, give that a mix. Again, one of the key things to this recipe is getting enough CO2 in there, getting enough stuff that's going to create gas, which will then expand the batter, so you'll get a much sort of lighter, more bubbly texture. And it's important to work quite quickly at this point, because you want to sort of keep as much of the fizz in the batter as possible. Can you feel the tension? So now, once that's gassed up, bowl of flour, plain flour, and another bowl for the batter. I'm going to use Basque roper, just very classical technique. Just dip it in flour first, and then for the batter, so now what you've got here, you're a very light aerated batter. Just get in there. Here we go. Coat the fish into the oil. What I want to do with this is just spread some more, and then when you be careful in the oil, just pulse it. You dip it straight in, it'll shoot the fresh batter off. And you can just build up these beautiful layers of batter. Once it's hard enough to support itself, flip the fish over, which I'll do now. So I'm doing the same thing on the other side.
Good batter-fish ratio.
Just layering the batter on. So while that's finishing off, we're going to serve this with a recipe of mine that you guys probably never have heard of, triple cooked chips. And you know the main things, you cut your potatoes, rinse the starch off, cook them in water, cook them for long enough until they start to break up. See these little bits like this? That's really important because fat only goes into a potato where there's a crack. It won't go in otherwise. And chips without fat, well, you might as well eat something else. There, so if you can see now, all those bubbles that have come up from that batter, the fish is nicely protected.
That's massive. That's a steak.
That is a steak.
I'm just going to leave that rest, because now there's enough steam built up on the inside. The thinner part will be done, the thicker part, another minute or 2 minutes. So just leave that, and that should just finish off cooking. And then, so we're back to the chips. You've done this, you've created those cracks, lift out of the water, very delicate, you chill them down, then you cook them in oil. Then the first fry, 130 degrees, and you just then gelatinise this starch that's collected on the outside, firms up the chip, and then the final cooking, 180. OK, so that's the fish ready. So to finish this off, I've got some of the triple cook chunky chips. In here, it's mushy peas. So these are flash frozen peas. All they've done is warmed up, crushed them with butter, salt, pepper and mint. And that's it. And then it's the SAS of the fish and chip fish. And then I'm serving that with, which for me was the smell of a fish and chip shop from my childhood. It's just the juice from pickled onions. OK, so the first thing you need to know, I think, when you're trying to cheat the recipe is to get somebody else to do all the work. And the second thing, particularly when it comes to ice cream, is to get some dry ice. Carbon dioxide, it's the thing that makes makes fizzy drinks fizzy. It's cold. Dry ice is about -60, -70 degrees. Don't pick it up with your fingers.
You get it from VOCs all over Australia. So just rock up your little polystyrene box with it.
Yeah, exactly. What we're going to do here, though, is use it to make ice cream. All you need is a mixer or a whisk and a bowl and some dry ice. First stage was to take, if you can see here, you get these big pellets. So first thing, bash the pellets up. So, exactly. Rolling pin, tea towel, over and bash. So in here, the dry ice, which has been bashed into a finer powder. OK.
Right.
That's it.
How much would you like in there?
Maybe half of that.
Now, this is just a mango smoothie bought from any supermarket.
The only preparation you have to do is open a bottle. That's it. You can do this at the table, and it's just a great theatre.
It just looks so cool. So what are you're putting in? Kind of two? What's that, like a cup and a half or so?
Yeah, it depends on how much liquid you've got in the bowl. It's better with the thicker liquids.
Oh look! Oh look! Oh.
You just have to blow away the.
You can lift it up like this, and you can see how it's turning into ice cream.
We can stop it there. Just test it.
Smells good.
So yeah, we'll serve this one up.
Tastes like a spider, but frozen all the way through. So it's got the fizz of a spider with the creaminess. That's great. What do you think of that? Have you tried some?
Oh, it's so fresh and creamy.
Yeah, and it's got a little tingle. Little tingle.
Yeah, just after.
Slight fizz. OK, so what should we do next?
I think we should do a double espresso. We're going to do iced coffee. Truly dry iced coffee.
OK.
This is a litre, and what you're going to use about 600 mils?
Yep. Looks good. It's OK.
So if we put more dry ice in, we'll get a colder set. Oh, magic!
It's a cappuccino.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's exciting. Oh no. Oh, man! How good is that?
I love the way. What's so brilliant about food and things like this? A whole room full of fully grown adults behaving like kids. Yeah. Isn't that brilliant?
So it's kind of, it looks like a really airy mousse now.
This is brilliant.
This is kind of exciting.
Do you know, it's worked. It's come out really well. It's like more like a gelato.
You should make some cones of that.
Who would like one of these? I don't know if you can share, maybe share one or something.
Oh, wow.
No one has ever done this before. This has never been attempted anywhere else in the world. This is a world first. It may all go terribly wrong. We may be making something that's quite explosive. So, in the back, you're all fine. If you want to text friends or relations down the front, feel free. We are going to take a childhood memory of many Australians and turn it into a Heston Blumenthal dish. I am pouring a can of a traditional Australian soft drink, the sound of summer.
How's it looking, chef? Is it behaving?
I don't know. I feel like a Star Trek episode. I'm down in the engine rooms. You're just coolly sitting in the bridge. Oh my, we have liftoff. Is the steam a sign that there's still dry ice being worked through? Is that what
Yes.
we're looking for? Now, kids, make sure it's totally churned because even small pieces of dry ice can be harmful if eaten.
Yep.
That's fascinating. This tastes of passion fruit, and that tastes of sugar. It's a huge difference. But it does taste like a really nice, like fresh kind of granita. Really, almost tastes healthy and good for you.
Just came in to stop me talking. It's been nodding off.
Chicken.
Was that good? Did you enjoy that? Yeah. You love that. I reckon we could put 10, 20 mixers in front of you and you'd find every liquid you could find and see what happened with dry ice.
Gravy ice cream.
Oh, man. See, now you've gone crazy.
Now, I'm going to show you one of my favourite drinks. I love skiing, and one of the best things you can have in a cold mountain is a hot chocolate. But this hot chocolate is a Black Forest Gatto hot chocolate. So a few years ago, I did a whole show on Black Forest Gatto. Went to Germany, Baden-Baden. Oh, hello.
I heard Black Forest Gatto, so I thought, and I could smell chocolate, so I'm coming in. Carry on, good man.
Two most important things, Black Forest Gatto. It's chocolate, it's cherries, it's kirsch, it's cream. So what we're going to do, first off, in here, I made a ganache. I've used two different types of chocolate. One's got slightly citrusy notes. The other chocolate has got red fruit notes to it. Slightly plummy. And with the ganache, melt the chocolate, bring the milk up to a simmer, pour the milk onto the chocolate, and you end up with this ganache that is so creamy. We've also added some orange zest, some lime zest, a bit of grapefruit zest. We've added a little bit of coffee for the bitter notes, and then we've added some cherry sauce. So we've done that, we've infused that mixture, and that is basically our hot chocolate base. And on top of that, we're going to have a cream. For the cream, actually, Gaz, can I?
Yeah. So you've got a specific white chocolate here?
Yes.
And just mix the whole thing?
Yeah, three-thirds. Right. Once that's incorporated, Gaz, can you add some cream?
Yep.
Just some whipping cream. And once the cream's in, I'm going to add kirsch. Do you guys know what kirsch? You've tasted or smelled kirsch before?
Jamie is the barman, so I'm sure he knows what kirsch is. But for the rest of you, kirsch is a cherry brandy. Cream all at once?
Cream all at once, yep. For me, the smell of the Black Forest is kirsch. Absolutely kirsch. Amelia, once you smelt that, can you come over and just chuck that in that bain-marie, please? And then finally, a bit of truffle oil.
OK.
So we just put and then pop that into a siphon, and we'll keep that warm. That's going to be a warm white chocolate, kirsch, and white truffle mousse to sit on top of the hot chocolate.
OK, Heston, I'll change the siphon while you get on with the cloud element.
In here, I have a mix of water that I've dissolved cocoa nibs and just left it for a few hours. Dissolve that and then added to that some more Kish and some chocolate liqueur. So this is going to form a cloud. It'll be a cloud of Kish, believe it or not, that sits on top of the chocolate, the white chocolate mousse. So making the cloud with one of these, it's a very special piece of kit called a cloud pourer. It's a beaker. The lid has a little basket underneath. So I'm popping into this little basket pieces of dry ice. Dry ice in there, pop that onto the lid, and then into this beaker pour the water, Kish, nibbed cocoa, and chocolate liqueur mix. So what should happen when you do this?
Oh my God.
There, you've got that smell. Oops.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh my God. See you later. What that is, it's just like boom. You know, there's chocolate, there's cherry, there's. You know, that was fantastic.
So pour the chocolate into the. And just putting it all together now. Okay, so now.
It's like making an Irish coffee, Heston.
I know, I'm concentrating very hard. So squeeze the foam in. That's it. Then, on top of that, I'll just take a little bit of chocolate shavings. OK, so we've got the chocolate ganache infused with the Kish and the zest and the coffee, all served with a Kish Cloud.
And we'll serve that with a shortbread biscuit on the side.
OK, so what I'll do, I'll come around this side. Do you want to take this? I shall pour and then go back and sit down. So hold the glass, that's it, now we'll pour the cloud on and then just sip through it.
Oh, that glass. I'm gonna sip this.
So now sip.
That's freaking incredible.
Should I pass it on?
No.
I'll
Yum.
always pour that way, yes, not that way, because you've got the liquid in, that's it.
Sure, go.